Okay. This is the Village of Mariemont Health and Rec Committee meeting to discuss the proposal for the 2021 season pool and tennis dues. Um, I sent around a copy of the recommendation that came in from both the tennis board and from the pool commission. Avia, did you get that? And Marcy, did you get that already? Okay. Avia, did you get a copy of it?
I got it, but I have not read it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
apologize. I have been working 15-hour days.
Okay, now I'll just go through it real fast as far as, let's start with tennis. So again, what both pool and tennis did is they took a couple things into consideration when they came up with the dues amount for 2021. A was to look at the operating deficits that we've been incurring for both pool and tennis for a lot of years. And second, and most important, to see where our dues were in comparison to other facilities in the area. I think in the past there was somewhat of a thought that, well, this is a village pool, village tennis, but I think right now our dues are so far under what other comparable facilities are charging, both from the pool and tennis, that we've got some room to move this up. And the recommendations that both pool and tennis came up with is still well below what some of the comparable facilities are charging for these types of amenities. So, and we don't have any sort of initiation fee either that those other facilities offer. So when you see the increases here, they're, on a percentage basis kind of high, but I think the dues have been kind of low for probably the last 5, 10, 20 years. And so this is somewhat of a catch up. And I'll walk through a little bit of the numbers on the tennis side. Tennis is talking about roughly about a 25% increase in dues. And so for a family, it would go from $100 to $125 if they pay before Memorial Day, and then after Memorial Day, it would go to $150. And those numbers are still well under, what comparable facilities are charging. And what this does is this will actually increase the revenue to get us slightly above the operating cost level for tennis, but it will not fix or cover the capital improvements that are needed at the tennis facility every now and then. And we'll probably have more of a conversation about that at the committee of the whole next Monday about what some of their capital needs are. But this at least gets the tennis, and they have been improving as far as the number of tennis members in the past couple of years. So there's definitely a desire, and the tennis board itself has been working pretty hard to improve the facility. I'm not sure if you've gone past there to see what they've done with the what they call the tennis shed, as far as painting the outside of it and trying to fix some of the boards, and they've removed a lot of plants around the tree lines and stuff like that to clean some of the areas up. So they're doing everything possibly they can to try to get people in there. And the tennis courts were actually pretty crowded this year. So again, the percentages look substantial, but it's kind of a catch up for the past, and we're still below what some of these other amenities are charging. Still probably have some more room to take it in future years if we have to. So as far as tennis is concerned, anybody have any problems with the proposed increases there? Or any comments? Or
I don't. I think that they're reasonable.
No, I think tennis is reasonable.
Okay, good. And let's jump over to the pool then. Again, you did see, and I haven't had a chance to share the overall capital requests from tennis yet, because they're still working on 2 questions. Like on that one, what is the normal maintenance for a tennis court, and what do we have to look at for capital? So hopefully we'll have that by Monday night. But I did send already on the pool side some of their requests for capital items. And the pool commission right now is in the process of trying to improve the experience down there as much as they can. Obviously with COVID, we were kind of limited about what we could do this year with the number of people you're allowed to have in the facility at 100 at any point in time. Maybe for 2021, we get that restriction lifted, but we may be dealing with that again. But the pool commission, again, like I said, looked at comparable facilities, and we're still well under, and they're recommending to take the family membership from $399 to $499. which is about a 25% increase. I'm sorry. I'm
What,
sorry.
what,
I'm sorry.
15%.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 15%. I was reading across instead of down. Family memberships go for 346 to 399, a 15% increase. And family plus babysitter goes from 434 to 499, a 15% increase. So about a 15% increase across the board for various things there.
do you know who they use as benchmarks?
They were looking at Madeira. They were looking at Terrace Park. They're hard to get numbers out of exactly what the sports mall charges, but I think it's safe to say they're much higher. They're looking at a couple other private clubs, the Clinton Hills, things of that nature. So they've got probably about 8 or 10 pools they compared it against.
Hey,
I know,
Joe.
like from the sports club. Oh, go ahead, Marcia.
No, you make your point. Mine's about something else. So go ahead.
Okay. I know, just let me say, I know that we are not making enough money from the pool to be able to support the pool. So I get that for sure. I do know from the Cincinnati Sports Club perspective, I looked at it myself recently, and you have an option for doing indoor only, or if you have indoor outdoor. And I can say, like, it didn't make sense from a financial perspective if you were going to be at the sports club, even though you pay for outdoor all year round. It was more, if you did the indoor at the sports club, but you wanted to do it at the pool at Mariemont, it cost you more money versus just doing the whole all-inclusive at the sports club. So just the reference point, I think as we, as these costs continue to uptick, and then there's not the amenities, that's comparative to some of these other clubs, I know it's a catch-22, but I just want us to keep that in mind in terms of, keeping, those costs reasonable as well. So.
Well, there's no doubt we're never going to be able to compete against the sports club, sports mall, sports club, whatever you want to call it, on a amenity for amenity basis. But we've got the idea of a neighborhood pool. We've got the idea of families kind of joining in with other families. We have to go with our strengths. We're not going to be able to compete with them on facilities, but we may be able to provide enough facilities that it will become an option that people, choose to go with in the future. There'll probably be some people that'll buy memberships at both at Mariemont, and that's okay. But we're not going to be able to probably compete on an even keel with them because of we just don't have the capital to put into it. We're going to have enough trouble trying to maintain what we already have. Say the lap pool. The lap pool is probably getting towards the end of its estimated useful life, and at some point we may need to deal with it. So we're not going to be able to put in a heated pool. We're not going to be able to do some of the other stuff that the sports mall has done. But I think
Sure.
And one of the things that the Pool Commission has articulated at this point, we need to change the experience while they're down there to improve the experience, and then try to figure out how to keep people at the pool longer during the day. And some of that comes down to some simple things to change, which is putting in grills, which aren't there right now. So if somebody wants to come down after work and make something, and we have to just admit, and I think in the past people thought, don't put grills in because it'll take business away from the concession stand. The concession stand can't compete. I mean, they're not going to be able to offer steaks on the grill, and we don't even want them to think about trying to do that. And then the other, there's other things they're looking at about bringing in food trucks on a Friday and Saturday night. Get people to the pool, give them a positive experience, and give them a reason to stay around a little bit longer. And, I think that should work. And they're looking at coming up with something to replace the missing diving boards. We pulled the diving boards out 2 years ago because of the Hamilton County restrictions on the diving well. And we got to come up with something else to kind of replace that, because in essence, we took, an amenity away from the pool. So, they've got a real challenge.
What is the membership cost?
I was just
sports club.
I mean, I know what I pay per month for that's all inclusive. It's like $215, maybe $220, something like that. That's all inclusive.
A month?
And I can't remember. Yeah, a month.
Workout
But
facility
if you,
too.
Yeah, that's indoor and
Yeah.
outdoor. But I think if you were to just do indoor, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I looked it up. You know, I got some numbers from them a couple of years ago when I was just looking at it. It's like maybe, I don't know, 180 or something. I can't remember. But like it was, if you calculate out like, okay, it's the family membership for the pool is $346. It was cheaper with the sports club to have the all-inclusive versus, you know what I mean? Going to the Mariemont pool and doing the indoor only at the sports club was more expensive.
Yeah.
By like,
So I actually
don't know,
I found the document they sent to me. So they looked at Turpin Hills, who's at $725 for a family membership, Terrace Park's at $850, and both of them have initiation fees of about $1,500. Madeira Swim Club's at $675 with about $700 in initiation. Indian Hill Swim Club's at $1,400, which includes a assessment for capital improvements. The Kenwood Swim Club, this isn't the country club, is $848. Sports Small they've gotten here at $250 a month with a, you know, and I think we're all aware that Fairfax residents get a discount. So Clinton Hill Swim Club is at $655 plus a $400 capital assessment. Clinton Meadows is at $690, and Wyoming Swim Club is at $625. So we're still below that, you know, and
it's nice to hear those comparators. I mean, I haven't been to any of those clubs, and maybe they might be maybe they might have a smidge more amenities or whatnot. I mean, besides the sports club, but I mean, that's still a substantial difference, right?
My daughter swam, and son actually too, and I've been to some of those clubs, and at Clinton Hills, I mean, that's not any nicer than Mariemont.
right.
I haven't been to Madeira in a while, but I grew up there, and I'd say it's comparable. Indian Hill, I would say, is comparable.
We need to fix the product down at the pool, and once we fix the product, then we'll be able to figure out, you know, where our rate should be. Right now, we've got a real challenge, you know, and again, some of the stuff that's on their capital list is just basic stuff. Fix the showers, fix the, you know, the bathrooms, which isn't real expensive stuff to do. We just have to, you know, figure out how to do it and get it done.
So Joe, can I make a comment, please?
Yeah.
So the only question I had about the increases is if you look across the board, they're 20, 16, 23, 15, 15. I thought that was a little excessive for seniors, just on a percentage basis. I know it's only $28, but seniors are on a fixed income. If you brought that down to 145, that would be a 19% increase, which would be at least in line with the other ones. That was my only thought on that.
$4?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about on a percentage basis, and people are on fixed incomes.
How about if we catch back up next year and only give them a 12% increase or whatever the number is going to be? Or again, we can make the change because we haven't put anything out yet. I don't care, but you know, it's not going to have that big an impact on the revenue stream. We're still, I will tell you this, if you look at the projected numbers for revenue for 2021 and operating expenses, we're still not covering the operating expenses for the pool with these increases. It's going to still take us a little bit of time to get up there.
Yeah, and that's to say nothing of the capital expenditures that are on the horizon.
Well, I understand all that. I'm making a point that just across the board, if you're giving other groups a maximum of 20 and families who are probably utilizing it mostly at 15%, it's just, you know, not fair.
Do we
I mean,
know how they came?
It's not a deal breaker.
Marcy, I would
point.
argue that none of our rates are fair right now because they're too low. So it's just a matter of how fast do we get them up to something that's more reasonable.
Well, if you let me finish, I was saying that it's not a deal breaker, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
Okay.
Do we know how they came up with those percentages? Why is senior membership percentage higher than the others?
I think they were trying to stay below some price points. Like if you look at when they picked $399, it doesn't have a 4 in the first digit. They were just trying to stay away from, they were doing a little bit of marketing with the thing. And I think that's the same thing with the senior membership. They took it to $149 instead of taking it up to $150. Just, you know, it's just the sticker shock deals, the classic car sales, you know, taking it to $1 under. So it doesn't have the higher digit in the first number. So I think they did a little bit, and they argued a lot about where these numbers should be. because they believe the pool should be able to stand on its own, but they're also a little bit worried about sticker shock with the increases coming through. But the reality is we have to make sure everybody understands that if we don't fix this revenue stream, we may lose the pool at some point. I mean, from the standpoint that, we're teetering on, I don't want to say on extinction, but we can't continue to operate the way we have in the past. So we're going to have to fix some numbers here.
I totally agree with you. I know that. I mean, if you add up the operational, the total budget deficit for, the last 5 years, you're looking at almost $200,000.
Yep.
Which is, that's a disservice to the community.
Yep. And as far as the capital stuff, I really do believe we can raise some money for some of the capital stuff with private contributions and grants and all the rest of it. So not like we have to figure out how to cover all that, because I think there's alternative sources to fix that. And again, I think if we get the interest level back up in the pool, I will say this, that, when my kids were growing up, we never even thought about going to the sports small pool. I mean, it wasn't even an option because all the kids just went down to the pool together. So, and I've been a member of the sports club for probably 20 years now, but it was not considered, and we just have to get back to that where, we get people who want to be at the Mariemont pool for one reason or other. And I think it's the experience that's going to get there more than the amenities, because we probably can't afford the amenities at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, the huge thing I think is that as a parent, you can, once your children get to a certain age, they can go themselves. And you're not worried about them. I mean, like you'd obviously be worried about your kids crossing Worcester and Madisonville, but from where I am, they could hop on a bike and be there. I remember the first time Amanda went by herself, I followed her from a safe distance.
You followed her a block away in the car?
I was actually on my bike too. I want to be able to veer off if she saw. But but that's a huge thing.
How did you get to the pool?
I was going to make a point actually that before I got into my Amanda story about the experience, but I hope maybe it'll come back to me.
Deb just told me, you all know where I live. Deb, all of her sisters, her brother, they either walked or rode their bikes to the pool. You just did that. All their friends were going to be there. They were on the swim teams.
Oh, I know what my question was. So Joe, if I've just got a question here, it's not really related to the fee schedule per se, but one of the goals you said was to get more people involved. So is there a particular reason why they didn't offer memberships outside of the village of Mariemont this particular year?
Yeah, there's been a lot of debate about that, and the debate has come down that there's no reason for us to offer it outside the village because they think they can fill it up with the village residents first. And if that doesn't work, then we'll start looking at, and again, there's another school of thought that says, don't offer it to outside residents until we have something fixed, that we have a product that's willing, that is marketable. That is something that is, we're not marketing something that's broken.
Hey, Joe, how is it though that we've always offered outside memberships to tennis courts?
Yeah, it's kind of happened there, but I will tell you, tennis is starting to get into a little bit of bind because they've got too many people sometimes. I mean, there's waiting lines for the courts now.
Yeah.
So so they may have to actually, I don't think they want to do it at this point, but they may have to cut back on that a little. So right now, I think the question is how much capacity do we have at the pool? And if we can fill it up with Mariemont residents, then we do it. And if not, then we'll kind of have an idea about what that capacity number is. And this year we couldn't offer it to outside residents with 100-person capacity during any session. We may be dealing with that same thing in 2021. So it's probably not the year to try to implement that. But there's and as I've been looking at all this stuff, I think there's a tremendous opportunity if we did offer it to somebody from outside the community. I think there's two numbers that would be attached to that. One, I think there's an initiation fee.
I agree. I agree totally.
Right.
We paid a lot of money when we lived in Williams Meadow to go to Terrace Park.
Right.
Those weren't the kids that my kids knew. So I think people in Williams Meadow, Mariemont Landing, would be particularly motivated, and especially if it was priced at some point, with an initiation fee, but not as high as Terrace Park.
Right.
I mean, Terrace Park does have the advantage that the tennis courts are right there and you can utilize both. But
Mariemont Landing isn't, I thought Mariemont Landing was part of Mariemont. They're not able to use the pool?
Nope, they're Columbia Township.
Oh.
So again, there has been debate on the outside residents, but obviously 2021 was not the year for it. I don't think 2021 is going to be either. I really think we're going to still be under some sort of restrictions, and I don't think the vaccine is going to get rolled out fast enough. And
well, not for children even.
Yeah, and so but again, we didn't see any problems during the summer with the operation of it. It worked pretty well, but we were really limited. Excuse me.
Yeah, you had to be on it to book your appointments when you wanted them. When that came out on Friday or whatever day that was.
Those 100 spots went fast, right? So again,
more desirable times, yeah.
Right. I really believe that we can fix this thing. I'm very, very optimistic. It's just going to take some time here to figure it all out. And again, trying to deal with the COVID has not been the greatest time to be doing some of this stuff. So.
To your point about Mariemont Landing, the new condominiums, that are being built where the old steam plant used to be, those are in Mariemont, and those residents would be eligible.
Okay. Yeah, I knew all of this at one point and just kind of forgot it. Thank you for the clarification.
All right. So is everybody okay with the proposed fee schedule for the pool, or do you have any additional?
Yeah, I mean, based off of our conversations, I think having that additional data that you shared was helpful. I'm good. I mean, if we really think that senior membership is too high, I don't know what you think, Marcy. I mean, I could support either way.
Like I said before, I think I made a valid point. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I do know there are seniors who use that as their primary exercise, from a medical standpoint. It's easy on the joints, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know.
And it's their only reason that they did that.
If you live in senior, if a deal breaker, if you live in Mariemont and can pay the taxes, I don't know. It's just.
Right. I mean, if the only reason they chose 149 was because they were originally thinking 150, but we're just trying to keep it under.
Well, yeah, and they do have, if you look, they have 179, 149, 399. So I don't think it was like intentionally trying to gouge the seniors at all. So that, I'm fine with it. I just thought it was a point worth making.
Yeah, and the other thing is at the bottom of the page, if somebody is having trouble making the payments, we got something in there about contacting Bill.
I do want to say.
Go ahead.
I do want to say that whoever put this, I don't know if you put this together, if they put it together, this was a one-page, so easy to read. It told the whole story with the deficits, and I really appreciated the work and the professionalism that went into this. So
this is why it's great to have a pool commission.
I plan actually on sending a letter to them and telling them that I appreciate it as a committee member.
Yeah, and again, I think the document they put together on the capital needs was pretty professionally done. It shows what's kind of going on there.
I don't know if I've seen that.
I had shared that. I'll share it again. It's a funds request. Kind of looks like this. Okay. It's a fairly large PDF, like a 10 megabyte with pictures and all the rest. I'll resend it just so you have it for Monday as we go through the permanent improvement budget. But the problem is on the permanent improvement side, we don't have enough money there for all the needs right now. So it'll be a conversation larger than permanent improvement on Monday. So. But again, I do believe there's other sources out there, and we have to start figuring out those, including private fundraising. So, and hopefully we get the 501c3 built and filed here fairly soon. Trying to make, we had a meeting last night on that to try to figure out what the structure is, who's going to trustees be, and get that moving, and then try to get the documents filed with the IRS and try to get our termination letter. Because that typically takes 6 months to get that back from the IRS, but Pool wants to start some fundraising stuff immediately. and they really want that foundation to be able to utilize to attract contributions. So,
No.
and we have identified actually a second individual in Mariemont. We found one already who has significant fundraising experience with different charitable organizations, and we just found a second one that I didn't know existed in Mariemont. So we're really finding some really qualified people, and our hope is to take those individuals and line them up with some of the younger people in town that may not have a lot of experience, but have a lot of passion and desire to get things done. And with that group, hopefully we'll be able to do some great things within the 501c3.
It's good.
Now I just have to convince them to be trustees. Because in the one case, the individual said, I just retired from actually a fairly large charitable organization in town. I really don't need another job now. But we'll just have to do a little bit of arm twisting to try to make it happen. So, but again, I think it's that mix. If we can get that on the board of older, experienced people and younger, passionate people, it'll be a great mixture, and hopefully we get some stuff done here. All right. Anything else? And so we're all good with the proposed pool and tennis. I'll get the report out tonight. We'll get it in front of council on Monday. The pool is actually thinking about selling pool passes as Christmas gifts. So that's one of the reasons we're trying to get this done fast. Whether we missed that cycle or not, I don't know. But it was one of the thoughts was, try to market them during the Christmas holiday. So, which is, usually I will say this, we're usually having these conversations in April about what the fees are. So again, having some structure, we're getting stuff done a lot faster. And I think again, the pool commission is working.
Yeah.
So. Okay, anything else?
Well, we'll do the rate change though by resolution though, right, Joe?
I have no idea where that stands right now. I think there's been different interpretations over the last 2 weeks on that. I was told to have a committee meeting to get it in front of full council. So I'm having a committee meeting to get it in full council. So
well, I'm thinking resolution.
My understanding is that an ordinance is a permanent change to the code of ordinances, and resolution is just policy procedure or a policy change.
All right. Well,
So I think this, but I'm no expert on this. Hopefully Ed can tell us Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get it done. So
just right. Yeah. Well, you did a good job. You get the report out and I'll get it to Ed and we'll see what we need.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Well, thanks for hopping on. There's got to be one of the shorter committee meetings we've had. So as promised.
Good work.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Thanks,
See you, Joe.
Joe.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.